Welcome to the second session of this polynomial series. In this video, we progress with other important concepts such as polynomial zero, root, factor, as well as polynomial equality. This video will demonstrate how to use factor and remainder theorems as well as the coefficient equating methods through 8 worked examples. Hello, math champions! I'm Dr. Chen. If you want to improve your math skills and understanding so that you gain confidence, enjoy math more, and get better results, click subscribe and hit the notification button so that you don't miss anything. Welcome back to the series of polynomial. This is the second session of this important topic. In this session, we will focus on factor and remainder theorems and their application. Now, we need to go through some important terms that are useful to improve our understanding on this topic. We will also use these terms when going through the examples later. As it can be seen on the screen, the first term is 0, which is a value of the variable, which makes the polynomial equal to 0. Roots of a polynomial equation are values of the variable which satisfy the equation. In the case of polynomials, the factors are the polynomials which are multiplied to produce the original polynomial. For example, if ax minus b is a factor of a polynomial px, then there exists another polynomial qx such that px equals the factor multiplies qx. The next important term is polynomial equality. If two polynomials are equivalent, they must be the same degree of polynomials and all their corresponding coefficients are equal. We often use this principle to equating coefficients to find unknown coefficients. Example 1 is asking to find the unknown constants a, b, and c under the criterion that two polynomials are equivalent. So we will use the principle of equating coefficients to find the constants a, b, and c. First, we expand the polynomial containing the unknown constants on the right side of the equation. After expanding the factorized form of the polynomial, we have the cubic polynomial of 2ax cubed plus 2b minus a, or in parentheses multiplies x squared plus c minus b, or in parentheses times x minus c. Then we make it equivalent to the polynomial of 6x cubed plus 7x squared minus 19x plus 7. Since they are equivalent, all the corresponding coefficients in this case must be the same. Hence, simultaneous equations of equating the coefficients are established, and the values of a, b, and c are found to be 3, 5, and -7. Question 2 is a similar question with unknown constants a and b in the polynomial on the right side of the equation. We start with the polynomial containing constants a and b on the right side of the equation. After being expanded, all the corresponding coefficients are set to equal. So we find the values of a and b after solving the simultaneous equation. There are two pairs of solutions for a and b as shown on the display. One of the important theorems in polynomial is the remainder theorem. Example 3 asks us to prove the remainder equals pa when the polynomial px is divided by x minus a. First, we assume the remainder is r. So px divided by x minus a equals another polynomial qx plus r divided by x minus a. After rearranging and making them to have a common denominator, we have the polynomial function expressed as px equals qx multiplies x minus a, or in parentheses, then plus r. Substituting value a to the polynomial variable will result in r, the remainder. Therefore, r equals pa. Example 4 contains two questions related to two cubic polynomials. For the first question, it asks us to calculate the value of a given that it has a remainder of 7 when divided by x minus 2. As for question 2, it has the remainder of -8 when divided by x plus 1. So, according to the remainder theorem, we substitute 2 into the polynomial variable of the first question and make it equal to 7. Similarly, we substitute -1 into the polynomial variable of the second question and make it equal to -8. Hence, we calculate the value of a, which equals 3 for the first question and 2 for the second question. Example 5 presents a polynomial with an unknown degree of n. It leaves a remainder of -7 when divided by x minus 1 and leaves a remainder of 129 when divided by x plus 3. According to the remainder theorem, we substitute 1 and -3 into the polynomial variable and set them equal to -7 and 129 respectively. Hence, we calculate the values of a and n that are -3 and 4 respectively. Example 6 shows a polynomial px with which the remainder of 4x minus 7 will be obtained when divided by a quadratic factor x squared minus 3x plus 2. It asks us to find remainders when the polynomial px is divided by x minus 1 and x minus 2. Since we have already been familiar with the remainder theorem, we substitute the values of 1 and 2 into the polynomial variables respectively to calculate the required remainders that are -3 and 1. Example 7 shows the polynomial of z to the power 4 plus 64 can be factorized into two real quadratic factors of z squared plus az plus 8 and z squared plus bz plus 8. However, the polynomial cannot be factorized into the real quadratic factors such as z squared plus az plus 16 and z squared plus bz plus 4. The first approach of proving is to multiply the two quadratic factors and then collect the like terms. After doing so, we apply the coefficient equating method to establish simultaneous equations to calculate the values of a and b. There are two pairs of solution, a equals 4, b equals -4, or a equals -4, b equals 4. However, we may directly factorize the polynomial z to the power 4 plus 64 by adding and subtracting a term of 16 z squared. In this way, the first three terms can form a complete square, while 16z squared is equal to 4z, or in parentheses squared. Now we have the difference of two squares, which can be factorized into the two real quadratic factors as required. Here we continue with example 7 and show that the polynomial of z to the power 4 plus 64 cannot be factorized into the two real quadratic factors of z squared plus az plus 16 and z squared plus bz plus 4. We first assume the polynomial can be factorized into these quadratic factors by making it equivalent to the polynomial. Then we try to find the contradiction against the assumption we made earlier. After multiplying the two quadratic factors and collecting the like terms, then we may apply the coefficient equating method by establishing three simultaneous equations. It is not difficult to observe that equation 1 contradicts equation 3, which means that we cannot find values of a and b that satisfy both equation 1 and 3. Therefore, the polynomial z to the power 4 plus 64 cannot be factorized into the real quadratic factors of z squared plus az plus 16 and z squared plus bz plus 4. Example 8 asks us to find the value of k in two different polynomials, given that there is a non-linear factor for each one. According to the factor theorem, we substitute -2 into the variable of the first polynomial and set it to 0. So we find the value of k is equal to -8 and then back substitute the calculated value of k into the polynomial. Since we have already known x plus 2 is a factor of the polynomial, it is not difficult to factorize the polynomial. The final factorized polynomial form is 2x plus 1 times x plus 2 times x minus 2. The approach to the second question is the same as or very similar to the first one. Substituting 3 into the variable of the polynomial and make it equal to 0 to calculate the value of k. Then back substitute the value of k into the polynomial to factorize it. Since the requirement is to factorize the polynomial in real number range, the final factorized form is x times x minus 3 times x plus square root 2 times x minus square root 2 as shown on the screen. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to help me make more math content like this. I will see you in the next video.